Sir,
Good morning, sir.
so you're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir. Okay, good morning, Alex.
Good morning. On October 10th, 2024, officer conducted a traffic stop on the defendant's motor vehicle after observing it drive at a high rate of speed, 52 miles per hour in a 40-mile-per-hour zone. Upon contact with the defendant, the officer observed red, bloodshot, watery eyes, thick, dry speech, and a strong odor of mouthwash and cologne. And despite those smells, the officer could still detect the odor of alcoholic beverage emanating from the defendant's person and vehicle. The standard field sobriety tests were administered. HGN was 6 out of 6, walk and turn was 6 out of 8, and the one leg stand was 3 out of 4. The DIC was red, but the defendant refused to give breath or blood. A search warrant was obtained and executed.
Can you look to see if there are any priority WIs?
No priority WIs, Your Honor.
Judge, it's my understanding he has no priors whatsoever.
That's correct, no priors.
And Judge, I would just submit to the court, I spoke with my client. He wasn't trying to, I think he was confused when they were asking him for consent. He was trying to ask some clarifying questions, and the cops, my understanding, said, look, we're just going to do a warrant. So I hope that the court doesn't ding him for, hey, you refused or anything like that as far as the conditions.
I mean, I'm going to do the same conditions that we always do, just order you not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs. I'm going to randomly test you. If I find that you're using any kind of alcohol or illegal drugs, I'll revoke your bond, put you in jail. That's all I'm going to do right now. Do you have a Texas driver license?
Yes, sir.
Do you have liability insurance in your name? You may continue to drive, but just be careful. Like I said, no drugs, no alcohol. They're going to call you to test. You have to go test. If you don't, then a warrant issues.
Sure.
Now you have a lawyer, he'll take care of you. I'll waive your appearance. You don't have to waste your time coming to court, but you got to stay in touch, and then they'll tell you when you have to come back. If they tell me they can't get a hold of you because you're playing games and you're not answering phone calls, and again, I'll issue a warrant. Do you have any questions? Okay, so really the only thing right now is just no drugs, no alcohol. That's it.
Thank
All
you,
right. Okay, guys, please.
Thank you.
Right. Okay, Judge, page 13. Kennedy, come on up.
Morning, Miss Kennedy. Ma'am, you're charged with possession of marijuana. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you.
On October 9th, 2024, the officer observed the defendant's vehicle parked at a community center in Harris County, Texas, while on patrol. The officer observed the defendant with an open driver's side door, and through that door dump a pile of tobacco on the ground with a brown hand-rolled cigar in her hand. Upon seeing the defendant dump the cigar and upon seeing the officer, the defendant grabbed her sweatshirt, knocked the cigar onto the ground, and covered the cigar. The officer made contact with the defendant. The officer observed a strong odor of marijuana. The officer told the defendant what he saw and what she had, and the defendant asked the blunt. The defendant retrieved the blunt from under the sweatshirt and handed it to the officer. The officer observed the cigar to contain a green leafy substance recognized to be marijuana from his training and experience. A search of the vehicle was conducted, and the officer found a clear plastic bag containing marijuana in the center console. The weight was 2.3 grams. The defendant was parked approximately 191 feet from the public pool.
Okay, let's go through this again. She just parked somewhere? Is that what you're saying?
She's parked and she opens the door and dumps, it says, a pile of tobacco on the ground.
So that's what drew the.
That's what drew the attention of the officer, yes. And then he confronted her about what he saw and then he also saw her with a cigar in her hand, and he believed that to be a blunt. And then she asked about it, or he asked her about what he saw. He told her, I saw you dump it. He saw in her hand the cigar.
Mm-hmm.
And then whenever he said that, she asked the blunt. And then that's what gave him, as well as a strong odor of marijuana, probable cause to search the vehicle.
So him going to the vehicle at that point, he also smells it.
He also smells it, yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Kennedy, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. I'm not putting any conditions on you now. Just be careful. Don't pick up any new cases. Do you have a valid Texas driver license, ma'am? Do you have liability insurance in your name? Are you sure? Okay. How old are you? You're 20. What do you do for a living?
just graduated college and I work at the airport.
Great. You graduated college? Doing what?
I got my associate's degree,
Okay, in what?
general arts, kinesiology,
Okay.
Coastal Bend College.
And
I was
so,
on a scholarship.
so now what are you doing at the airport?
I just do boxes. I work for Amazon Prime warehouse in there.
So what are you gonna do now?
I'm just working. I'm waiting to get back to school next semester.
It's a good idea. That's what I'm trying to head at. You know, get back into school. The more education you get, the better off you are in life. The more money you're gonna make. That's what it's about. This life is about money. If you have a lot of money, it's a very sweet life. If you ain't got no money, it's not a sweet life, you know? The more schooling you do. You want to apply for an appointed lawyer? Okay. So, well,
This is my first time. I don't know if I need a lawyer.
you definitely need a lawyer, 100%. There's a lot of consequences that can come from a case like this, and you're facing 6 months in jail. So you 100% need a lawyer. The two options you have is you can go hire a lawyer, or you can apply for a court-appointed lawyer. What would you like? Deputy, do you mind giving an application? I'm gonna have you go to Victoria, we'll have you sign a reset, and then after that, we'll just have you take your signature box while we find your lawyer, okay?
Next is page 16, Morelli, come on up.
Very familiar to me. Do you know how? Maybe not. I represented a Morelli once, or a Morgan Morelli, actually with the same name. That's why. Okay. Ms. Morelli, you are charged with assault of a family member. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one will be appointed to you, man. Okay.
The officer spoke with the complainant, who is the defendant's mother, and who is also I apologize. Do you want me to keep going?
Go ahead.
Okay. And was
Sorry.
no problem. The officer spoke with the complainant, who is the defendant's mother, and was observed to be bleeding from her mouth and face. The complainant stated the defendant physically attacked her in the defendant's kitchen after a verbal argument about the complainant calling out the defendant for taking drugs. The complainant stated the defendant was beating the living hell out of me. The complainant stated she doesn't know exactly how many times the defendant struck her, so the defendant hit her numerous times with both hands and that she felt pain. The complainant stated they both had been drinking and had a couple margaritas, but that it was not the reason for the assault. The complainant stated she ran out of the defendant's house and back to her home, which is only a few houses down the street, to call for help. The complainant stated the defendant has a history of assaulting her.
There's a prior assault of a family member. Is that the same complaining witness? Let's see.
It is, Your Honor.
I have something interesting here. There's a joint. You see what was filed? A joint attorney of record. Can you appoint, or can you put two attorney of records? Really? Okay. Second assault of a family member against the same person. Ma'am, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case, and I'm going to tell you now, I'm going to do everything in my power to protect every single person of this county. And if that means putting you in jail, I'm going to do it in a heartbeat. Do you understand? I'm sending you now for a drug test. I want to know what, if anything, is in your system, then you're to come right back. If you fail to come back, or if you fail to take the drug test, I will revoke your bond. And I'm going to tell you now, you will not get any more PR bonds. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
As a condition of your bond, I'm forbidding you from having any contact with Diana Morelli whatsoever, not to consume any alcohol or illegal drugs, and I'm going to test you like crazy to make sure that you're not using. I'm also ordering you not to be in possession of weapons as well. I'm ordering you not to have contact with her. Can you find mom, please? Diana Morelli, please. Has a motion been granted in this case? Okay,
I just put it ready for you.
okay. So, guys, it looks like the CW is here, so
Judge, I have all spoken with the CW and she says that her and her daughter have fixed the situation
it
between
doesn't,
them.
no, it's a second assault. Every time I have, no,
Can
doesn't
I
matter.
just go confirm with the CW?
Yeah, and well, I'm
Oh, you're
bringing her
calling
in so that I
her
can
out.
talk to her as well. Are you Miss Morelli? Hi, thank you so much for coming. Would you mind coming up, please? I told her that I'm going to do everything in my power to protect every single person of Harris County, no matter who it is, who they are, what is going on, and that I would, and if that means putting them in jail and making it $100,000 bond, I will do it in a heartbeat. I'm entering now what's called a magistrate's order for emergency protection that identifies you as a protected individual. Ms. Morelli, you cannot commit family violence or an assault against this person, commit an act in furtherance of an offense under section 42.072 of the Texas Penal Code, which is a stalking statute. You cannot threaten, harass, use another person to communicate a threat or harassing behavior. You cannot be in possession of a weapon or go within 200 feet of where she lives or where she works. Do you understand? This is a second assault alleged against you. The first one was dismissed. However, now I'm forbidding her from having contact with you. I've also forbidden her from consuming alcohol or illegal drugs. And I'm sending her now for a drug test because I want to know what, if anything, is in her system. I'm so much as even contemplating putting a device on her ankle so I know that she's not consuming any alcohol. She has a lot of prior violent behavior, and I'm going to do everything in my power to quell it. This is the fifth, violent type of case that we have, and that's it. Historically speaking, every 2 years, there's a new case. Since 2018, stops now. Do you understand? Okay.
Am I allowed to say anything?
Well, I'd rather not. She has a lawyer, you guys can talk to the lawyer. I've got a bunch of DAs here and everything that you guys say can be used. And now's not the best time to talk about the case. The only thing I want to know, impart to you that you are now a protected individual, and I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure it stays like that so no one else puts their hands on you.
It's almost impossible for us to be able to follow because I'm driving back to work and my house is down.
Let's do this. I'm going to have her talk to the lawyer, and then we'll figure out something to do. Well, we'll talk. For now, what I want to do is I'm going to send her for a drug test because I want to know what, if anything, is in her system. And then we'll have her come back, and hopefully by then the lawyers will be here and then we can talk. Okay? So just don't leave for now. Okay? All right. I'm going to have you sign this order for protection now, and then we'll send you on your way, and then we'll see you back in half an hour. Okay? Hello?
Jonathan Concepcion.
Oh, Concepcion, sorry. Mr. Concepcion, you're charged with possession of a controlled substance. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Officers were dispatched to an apartment complex in Harris County, Texas, after a neighbor reported she heard an altercation in the apartment above her. When officers arrived, they observed one individual standing on a balcony yelling at someone in the courtyard. And when officers approached the defendant in the courtyard, they noticed he was extremely jittery and stuttering. The officer observed the defendant reach into his pocket and throw something on the ground. The defendant also took off an apron he was wearing and threw it on the ground. In the pocket of the apron, the officers found a Xanax pill weighing 0.5 grams.
Concepcion, I'm gonna find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. How old are you, sir?
29.
What do you do for a living?
I'm working at Dollar General. I work at Dollar General.
Okay. And how much money do you make a month?
Um,
And who do you live with?
I live with Joshua Johnson,
Who is that?
that guy in first row right there.
Is that your dad?
No, that's just my roommate. It's like a brother.
Come up, sir.
Yeah, I think she's the person we were arguing. I was arguing with.
I talked to the judge. Oh, I don't know how to do this. What we through.
No, you're okay. You just.
Yeah, don't worry, you're doing great. What's going on with you?
He takes care of me. I've been having some issues at home. Here often, I've been injuring my foot. And he, right now, while I'm healing up, he has to sometimes pick me up, sometimes like that.
You don't have to touch.
Okay. Help me get around the house. So it's hard without him being in my home. I don't feel safe without him. So, you know, I don't know what's going on. But Your Honor, I'll explain something to you. When he's not around, the Baytown police will go around saying that they're gonna find any reason to take this man to jail. Any reason. They just look for a reason. And I get tired of hearing that. I go out to where my girlfriend works at, have a cup of coffee. I gotta listen to this.
Okay,
He's taking care of me right now because my provider services, we're trying to get it back. So, you know, he helps cook because I keep getting food poisoning.
so you guys live in an apartment?
Yes, and it's bad. I tell you, they could have found those on the ground and accused him of it.
I don't want to talk about the case, but whose name is the apartment under?
Mine.
Okay, are you on the lease?
I don't know,
No, not
but
yet.
the managers, they all know me and everything.
The manager's letting him be there to help me out.
Right.
Because sometimes there's some issues with me to get scared a lot. But with him there, I'm safe.
So the only thing I'm gonna ask you now, Mr. Concepcion, don't use any dope or alcohol. I'm gonna test you. If I find that you're using alcohol and any kind of dope, I'm gonna lock you up. Don't use any alcohol or dope. As long as you can do that and stay out of trouble, you'll be fine with me. If you need, I can appoint your lawyer today, so you guys can figure out what to do. Do you have any open cases at this time anywhere else?
No.
Can you run an NCIC, please? Okay, so what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna have you sign a reset with Victoria. After that, you're gonna get with pretrial years. You're gonna sign your bond conditions, just no dope, no alcohol. And then I'm gonna have you talk to,
He can't drink or anything. Because he watches me when I'm drinking. That way I don't go outside. I see it.
this is gonna be a problem. Your pressure is an absolute,
Okay.
you know, if you're drinking and you're getting
I shouldn't
loaded,
go to either, 'cause I'm on medication.
He hasn't drank in a long time, like.
but but understand peer pressures.
Oh, I don't know anything about it. You got to explain.
If you're drinking
Uh-huh.
and you're getting intoxicated, the likelihood of him wanting to partake will be very, very, you're not listening.
Okay,
Sir, listen,
okay,
I'm trying to talk to you.
yes, sir.
If you were drinking, you're consuming alcoholic beverages and you're doing a lot of it, and he's there, he's gonna want to do the same thing,
Yes, sir.
and it's gonna create a problem.
Yes, sir.
That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay.
So be careful what you do, where you go, because you could potentially get him in trouble as well if you're doing something you shouldn't be doing,
Yes, sir.
you know?
Yes, sir.
So I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying,
I
be
understand,
careful.
sir. I just
Okay.
never been through this process before.
So let's do this. I'm gonna have you sign a reset. After that, I'm gonna have you take your seat in the jury box while we find your lawyer, and then we'll go from there. Okay?
Your Honor, appears he may be on a deferred out of the 263rd for an ag assault.
Oh yeah, I've been on it for about 2.5 years.
Asked you if you had any open cases, and you said no.
Oh, I thought you meant like a new case. No, yeah, I've been on probation for about 2.5 years. Yeah, I'm sorry, I thought you meant like anything that's new. That's what they always ask me.
I can understand.
I drug test you now, what's gonna show up?
Nothing.
Sending you now. I want to know what, if anything, is in your system. Yeah, you're on probation for a very serious case where you're looking at what? 2 to 20?
Yeah. This.
Stop. Yeah, it's a second-degree felony and you're not supposed to get in trouble, and now you've picked up a new case. It's very possible now they issue a felony warrant on your behalf. You're not supposed to get in trouble. I'm sending you now for a drug test. You must come right back. If you don't take the test, if you don't come back, I'm telling you now, I'm going to revoke your PR bond. You're not going to get any more. Do you understand? Okay, so just take a seat for me momentarily. I'm going to send him for a drug test. We're going to have him come back. And then I'm going to give him a lawyer and we'll go from there. But just, everything's okay for the moment, okay? You're fine. Okay? All right. I'm going to have you sign a reset and then I'm going to have you take your seat while we wait for pretrial to send you for a test, okay? Please.
Right this way.
Mr. Ramirez, you're charged with terrorist threat of a family or a household member. That makes it a Class A misdemeanor. You're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you, sir.
Yes, Judge. The complainant and the defendant are in a dating relationship. The officers were dispatched to a family disturbance at a residence in Harris County, Texas. The complainant stated that her and the defendant got into an argument. And the defendant stated, "I am going to kill you." He then told her, "I'm going to have someone kill you." The complainant stated she believed the defendant's threats were credible due to the defendant's behavior.
Okay, so I see that he has a prior felony assault. Tell me it's the same complaining witness. It
Or
looks
it's a
like it
different-
may have been pled down too.
It's a different complaint, Your Honor.
Yeah, it looks like he had a prior impeding breath case. It was pled down to time served on a misdemeanor. Do you have anything?
Judge, I spoke to the complainant in this case. She is requesting that we request that there's no contact. I believe that she is very fearful of the defendant. And we're also going to be asking for an emergency order of protection in this case. She's moved out of the house and she's moved in with her mother. But as far as I know, the defendant is aware of that and is aware of where.
So the address that you have listed in the order for protection now, do we keep that? This is the 9810. Did you know where she moved to by chance? Yeah. That's what I figured. So
I can get an updated address.
do you mind? Because we need to know whether we need to amend this or not. And it looks like the order for protection has already been entered. Mr. Ramirez, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case, and I'm ordering you now as a condition of your bond not to have any contact with this person and not to be in possession of any weapons. A protective order has been issued in this case. I suggest you get to know it, because if you violate the protective order, they will file additional charges against you, a violation of a protective order. And I'm telling you now, that is one of the worst misdemeanor cases you can pick up. You violate conditions on a DPO, I can have a hearing to hold you at no bond. Zero bond until this case is over with, and I will do it in a heartbeat to protect every person of Harris County. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
No contact, no weapons. Don't use anyone to try to get contact with this person.
John.
As it stands now, we're going to see whether this is a good address or not. If it is not, if she's not at this address, then we can change it.
Morgan has a new address.
I do have the address.
It's not the 9810.
Correct, Judge. I have the updated address.
Okay, so do you want to do a new one with that address on, or do you want to just put
Just
any
scratch it,
address?
And then can you do an NCIC data entry with the correct address?
Okay. We're going to reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer. So I'm going to have you At this point, go to Victoria, sign a reset. After that, I'm gonna have you take your seat in the jury box. While we get your bond conditions, we'll have you sign it, and after that, you'll be free to go. When you come back, please have a lawyer, sir. Okay. Hey,
Good morning, Judge. Could I chat briefly about this Berry case? I know Ms. Corfor was just in. I don't need you. Okay, I'm with you, actually.
okay.
So I'm filling in for Day, obviously, in this kind of playing telephone. When I left yesterday, this is the case where the Fulton County, Georgia, we're gonna,
She said they're gonna file a rescission of the warrant.
I haven't seen anything to that.
She's gonna email it. The clerk was gonna send it to her, and then she's gonna send it to you guys.
Okay,
I told her to get it to me, and I can get it to you too. If you wanna leave me your cell phone, I can text you a copy of it, or somehow get you a copy that we don't have to sit here and wait. For sure.
I'm not exactly sure that's how this can play out, but it can happen.
Oh, is your cell phone on here?
Yes.
Okay, as soon as she tells me something, and where is Day here or no?
Day's on kid duty, his kid's school. with
Does
me.
he have access to his phone? Because I think that
imagine so. I'll get in touch with him and see.
just, I mean, I guess I'll text him now and say, be on the lookout, just in case.
I'll send Ms. Okorfor an email. She has my email as of this morning, so.
Okay, I texted Day that, reminding her that about the Berry case and that she's supposed to send him something. If she does,
Okay,
let me know and then I'll get it to you.
perfect. Okay, thank
So
you. I'll be around.
unless you hear something else, and then don't just sit here and wait.
Thank you, Judge. I
Just-
appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll keep you in the know.
We'll get it figured out.